Cheeky Curations here. I've now got a tier list for you to do. This is going to be my first tier list that I'm going to be doing on this channel. We're going to be starting off with ranking all the DCEU films from worst to best, from S tier all the way to D tier. S tier being the best, of course, and D tier being the weakest. Let's begin with Man of Steel, the first film in the DCEU. So, Man of Steel, I thought was a good film. Yes, I had my criticisms about it, like in the case of it didn't feel like a real generic Superman film. There wasn't really much of Superman going rescuing people. It was more Clark Kent trying to figure out who he is as Superman and being feared. And but I didn't think it was a bad film. I think it was a good film. The more I think about it, I liked Henry Cavill's portrayal as Superman. I also thought Michael Shannon did a good job as General Zod. So I put Man of Steel in A tier. Thought it was quite a decent film. Batman vs Superman, the sequel to Man of Steel. Batman vs Superman again. At first, like Man of Steel, I didn't like it too much. I had my complaints about it, but the more I think about it, I realised it was actually quite a decent film. It did have some good parts to it. Like Ben Affleck did a great job as Batman. Henry Cavill also did a good job as Superman. Gal Gadot was very good as Wonder Woman. Just my only complaints with the film was I felt like it was trying to merge three different films all together. It was trying to be a Batman film. It was trying to be a Superman film. It was trying to be a Justice League film. It didn't really know what it wanted to be, so it kind of made the plot hard to follow sometimes, and it didn't really feel like a true sequel to Man of Steel. And it just came at the wrong time. It came too early in the DCEU, so I'm going to put Batman vs Superman C tier. But I did have some awesome moments, like the Batman warehouse fight was very fun to watch. It reminded me of the Batman Arkham games, Batman fighting all the foes. So yeah, I did like that scene. Suicide Squad. You know, weirdly, part of me does prefer Suicide Squad over Batman vs Superman purely for the reason I wasn't that hyped for Suicide Squad. I wasn't expecting something amazing out of it. I was kind of expecting it to be this just dumb superhero film, whereas Batman vs Superman had high expectations. But that doesn't mean Suicide Squad was great. I felt like the problems with Suicide Squad was it didn't feel like much of a Suicide Squad. No one really died in the film too much as compared to its predecessor, its successor, the Suicide Squad, which we'll be talking about later on. Alongside that, I thought Jared Leto's Joker was just useless. There was no point adding him into the film. He was just served as just to make more money for the film as like the Joker, and I just thought it was meh. I'll put it D tier. Suicide Squad. Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was a good solo film in the DC, and I think it's definitely up there, one of my favorite solo films. I'm gonna put it in S tier because I thought Gal Gadot did a great job as Wonder Woman, trying to navigate around humans during World War II. I liked her chemistry with Chris Pine's Steve Trevor, and I thought Ares was a very good villain as well. And it just felt like Captain America the First Avenger, but with Wonder Woman, but in some ways better than Captain America the First Avenger. It was a really good film, Wonder Woman. I do recommend it to a lot of people just to get into the DCU, even the character Wonder Woman. It's a shame that the video game was cancelled because I was looking forward to it when it got announced back in 2021 during the Game Awards. But oh well, we still got the Wonder Woman film. Justice League, the Joss Whedon cut. You're going in D tier. I was expecting a lot more from this film. This is supposed to be the big reunion of all the big DC superheroes like Batman, Flash, Wonder Woman, Superman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and many more all coming together to take down this bigger threat. But it just felt very rushed, very underwhelming. It just felt like one of those films like Suicide Squad where you can just chill with a few friends and watch to switch off. Like, it was a fun film, don't get me wrong. Not the worst film of all time, but I was expecting a lot more, and I mean a lot more from this film. So yeah, that goes into D tier. Aquaman. Aquaman was another decent solo film in the DCEU. I'm going to put it in A tier. I thought Jason Momoa was a good Aquaman. He brought a new element to the character, which I haven't seen with Aquaman, because we know Aquaman to be this quite posh, sophisticated prince, whereas this guy was, Jason Momoa's version of Aquaman was quite a dude. He was very chilled, be like, whatever, do what he wants. So I quite liked him for that. So yeah, I would put Aquaman A tier. Shazam. Shazam, you're going to go into S tier. I actually quite enjoyed the first Shazam film. It was one of those films, I wasn't that hyped for it. at first when it first got announced, but when I watched it, I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought it was a very fun film. It reminded me of like the 2000 Spider-Man films, the superhero films. Didn't really take too seriously, just had fun more. Yeah, Shazam definitely took that box. I thought Zachary Levi did a great job as Shazam. I liked the plot of him going against Dr. Savannah and the Seven Deadly Sins. I thought it was a really good film, Shazam, and I definitely need to give it a rewatch again because I've got it on physical media in the form of a DVD. So yeah, I definitely need to rewatch Shazam because it was quite a fun film. I remember watching it with one of my uni friends one day after university. Went to one of the cinemas near the university, and we watched Shazam there. It was a very fun day, and I definitely need to give it a watch again. So Shazam is at A tier. Birds of Prey or Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna put this film in C tier. I thought it was better than Suicide Squad and Justice League. Don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't great. Still, it just didn't feel like it was a necessary film. It was just trying to cash in on Harley Quinn, and I felt like the Birds of Prey weren't introduced very well. They didn't all come together until the very end. I thought Ewan McGregor was alright as Roman Cyanosis, aka Black Mask, but just very uneventful. So yeah, I put Birds of Prey in C tier, but still not a bad film. I'd watch it just to chill with friends, let's just say. Now the next film, Wonder Woman 1984. This is a film I will definitely not watch to chill with friends. If anything, this is the worst film in the DCEU for me. I did not like Wonder Woman 1984. I thought Wonder Woman 1984 was rubbish. It didn't even feel like a Wonder Woman film. I think she didn't even become Wonder Woman until the very end of the film. It was just very poorly done. It was boring. I thought the characters were very weakly developed. Cheetah was very poorly developed. Maxwell Lord was a poor villain. I was expecting a lot more from such a big villainous name like him in DC. So yeah, honestly, if I talked about how much I hated Wonder Woman 1984, this video would be 10 hours long, and I'm going to respect your people's time for that and not leave it at that. Wonder Woman 1984, worst film in the DCU, and such a big step down in quality from the first Wonder Woman film. Now we've got Zack Snyder's Justice League film. You, my friend, you're going in A tier. Let me just do this again. A tier. Zack Snyder's Justice League, you're going to go into S tier, not A tier, my bad. Yeah, so that was just really good. It was everything I wanted the Justice League film to be. Yeah, even though it was like 3-4 hours long, I did really enjoy the film. It felt like it went on much faster than a 4-hour film. And if I could get through The Godfather, I could definitely get through Zack Snyder's Justice League and many other films. So yeah, I definitely thought it was a good film. I liked how the characters were very all well explored equally, whereas I think the Joss Whedon's Justice League just focused on Batman bringing everyone together, whereas this Justice League film focused on all the superheroes in the vision, how they all come together to take down this much bigger foe, and a lot of callbacks to other DC characters. So yeah, I did like Zack Snyder's Justice League. I wish we saw more of that. And now we've got the Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad, you're in S tier. Yeah, Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad is in S tier. I actually quite like the Suicide Squad. Wasn't too hyped for this film, other than the fact James Gunn was going to be directing the film. I thought James Gunn is a very good director. He did a great job with the Guardians films, and he did a film called Super, which stars Rainn Wilson, who played Dwight from The Office, which is a very good indie superhero film, which I do recommend to people. But anyway, back to the Suicide Squad. I thought the Suicide Squad was a very fun film to watch, and also very well done. They introduced a lot of lesser known DC characters and had them all go against Starro and the Operation, and had also the characters feud with each other and go on their own separate missions and side quests, which really added depth to all the Suicide Squad. Whereas I feel like its predecessor, Suicide Squad, directed by David Ayer, just had them all together. Whereas I thought the Suicide Squad, they were all more fleshed out and had their own story arcs to deal with. So yeah, I thought the Suicide Squad was S tier, one of the best films in the DCEU. Now we've got Peacemaker, S tier. I love Peacemaker so much. Peacemaker is the film that made me, no, this TV show. I mean, sorry, cinema. I made a few mistakes this video, my bad. But oh well, my knowledge is what matters. Peacemaker is what made me love John Cena. I thought John Cena was very good in the role. It's weird seeing John Cena in that type of role. You know him to be more of a goody two shoes, by the book, whereas this, he's a bit more not with it, a bit more silly, But I enjoy Peacemaker. It's a good TV series and it's funny. And a lot of funny moments in it. And the side characters were very well explored. Next up, we've got Black Adam with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I'm going to put that B tier. I actually thought Black Adam wasn't that bad. It was an underrated film. It introduced a lot of good new DC characters, which I enjoyed watching them feud with Black Adam, but and eventually work with him to take down the much bigger threat. And Dwayne Johnson did a good job as portraying Black Adam, even though he's supposed to be a villain. I thought he did an okay job playing him, portraying him as an anti-hero and showing how Black Adam was made. I just wish they tried to go him more down the road of as a villain than an anti-hero. But yeah, Black Adam would be B tier. Shazam! Fury of Gods, D tier. That's going in D tier, Shazam! Fury of Gods, because it just was a pointless sequel. The villains were uneventful, unoriginal. Yeah, the subplot wasn't bad about the Billy Baxton and his friends kind of not really wanting to do Shazam, having inner conflicts, but it just wasn't a good film. I kind of forgot about it. Should I rewatch it? Maybe, but do I really want to? Not really. So that's D tier. The Flash is going to be C tier. You know, I thought The Flash wasn't a bad film. It did have a good plot line with Barry Allen, with Flashpoint, but it just felt more like a Justice League film than a Flash film. Like, I wanted a Flash film. There was no Flash villains in this film. No Reverse Flash, no Captain Cold, no Pyro, no one. Just General Zod as the main villain and a futuristic version of Barry Allen. So that definitely does go down in points. If anything, I changed my mind. Flash, you're going to go into C tier, D tier. You weren't a very good film, The Flash. It was a mess, and also Ezra Miller's a menace. Let's not even get into them. Up next is Blue Beetle. I'm going to put Blue Beetle C tier. I didn't think Blue Beetle was worst film. It actually was decent. It was a good original plot. I thought Zola Manachela, who plays Miguel in Cobra Kai, did a good job as the Blue Beetle. And it was a fun film to watch, just a bit... Story just wasn't great, and it was a bit not really eventful, but I still thought it was a decent film to watch. I definitely would watch it again, Blue Beetle. And then the final film in the DCEU, Aquaman The Lost Kingdom, that's going to be in C tier. It felt more like a buddy film with Jason Momoa's Aquaman and Patrick Wilson's Ocean Master teaming up to take down Black Manta. It didn't really feel like it was eventful. It was just like, let's make one final film, an Aquaman sequel, and just cash in on the characters we've got without really adding anything special to it. So I'll put it in C tier though, because it was better than The Flash, Suicide Squad, Justice League, Wonder Woman 1984, and Shazam! Fury of God. Let me change that order. Shazam! Fury of God, you're behind Wonder Woman 1984. You weren't as bad as that. But anyway, back to Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. Just thought it was very near, nothing special. But anyway, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.